Good afternoon. I'm going to allow a few minutes for people to kind of join in. Um, Hope everyone is doing well today. I really do. I really, really do. Okay. All right. I have a few people on. Um, and I just did a silent prayer too, so don't think I was just silent. So, today's topic is very simple, something that we typically learn in grade school, but sometimes we forget, right? And so today's topic is an attitude for gratitude. Um, because sometimes people forget um, who has helped them, who's been in their corner, who's pushed them when other people haven't been there. Um, and it can be draining. It can be draining. Not particularly for the person that is receiving, because honestly, you're getting poured into, right? But for those who pour into others, and your cup is often left barren, what does that look like, right? So there's many times when I've had this thought for a while, and it was like, let me just go ahead and talk about it. It's understanding where people are, because we put expectations on people um, that they may not be capable of doing, and that's not to say like that they're incapable of doing it. It's just maybe the time that you're asking and pulling and requesting from them is not the time to do so, because they are literally incapable of doing that. So, prime example, if you, we all know that about different sports figures over the years that may have had an injury and had to sit out in the game. And after they sat out for the game, no matter how many, what, days, weeks, sometimes months, sometimes a few years before they can go back, right? But the main thing is that that person cannot get back on the field. They cannot get back on that court until they were prepared and ready. And many times, a lot of people put requests on things, um, on people, without understanding their readiness. What does that have to do with attitude for gratitude? You're wondering. Glad you asked. Because we have to realize that we have to be thankful for those people to still be in our lives. We have to understand that although this person cannot give me what I want or what I am asking of them at this moment, the fact that they wish that they could, their intentions are good. We have to be thankful for that, because there are some people who will flat out say, no, I'm not helping. No, I'm not going to contribute. No, I'm not going to put forth a good word. Um, and in that, the requester is seemingly alone, but for the requester, it's also a moment in time for you to understand that maybe you're being guided and directed to look elsewhere on purpose. um, because what you may want to contribute, or excuse me, what you may want to receive is not readily available at this time from that person. It doesn't mean that it is a closed door. It just means that that's a no right now. It doesn't mean that it's always going to be a no. And so we can't be too quick to write off people because they they can't at this time. And then on the flip side, we have to understand that when you're in a position and you're able to do, you can't put that same weight on someone else. You can't. It's impossible. If you have been if you have been training for triathlons for years, and then you have somebody that is just breaking into the triathlon scene, you can expect them to be at the same level as you because they're at the beginning. They're where you were 3 years ago, right? So you got to stop putting that same expectations on other people because it causes stress. It causes unnecessary anxiety. Um, and what you do is you're inadvertently pushing people away from you as opposed to keeping those relationships and those bonds. And I think it's important for everyone to understand that because in a world now where everything is, I would say at this point, 75% virtual, that's still a 25% where people are coming back, but we're still pretty much a virtual world. Um, we need those connections. We need every connection that we can get to humanity to keep us. Um, because man was not meant to live alone. It was not. Um, and so with that, we have to understand that however you can be present, however that person can be present, we have to be thankful for that presence. I know for me, at my previous, I'll say my previous department because I'm still working for the same company, right? I remember missing a meeting, and my manager at the time emailed me and said, "Hey, why weren't you at the meeting?" And I said, "Oh well, I was doing something for the project, so I just decided not to show because it wasn't like a it was a team meeting where we could all it was sort of like a think tank meeting, right? So it wasn't like a meeting where if I didn't get this, I wouldn't be able to do my job. It wasn't that. But she let me know that no, you were missed. Like it was apparent that you were missed and like your thoughts were valued. So please come. And so that's kind of like the same thing that you have to do and understand is that if you're capable and able to do something, just because someone else can't, don't mean that you need to pull away. Don't mean that you need to be absent from them. Doesn't mean that you need to be separated from them. It just means that they can't at that moment. And understand that, take that in, but still be there for them when they need you. Um, excuse me. Another thing is that when it amazes me how many times people will say, "Hey, I want you to support me. Hey, 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 I want you to support me." And you support them wholeheartedly. And again, if it even on the levels of support that you can give, right? And then you ask them to support you, and they don't show, they don't recognize, they don't. Um, you don't get the honorable mentions, right? And I know we don't do things for that, but I'm just saying it's noted, right? We all get to that point where it's just like, dang, like I've been pushing you for a good minute, sis, bruh, and every time I say something or ask for support, it's like you give me an excuse every single time. Like, how am I supposed to feel, right? And it's like you kind of lose that bond with that person. You start to kind of, it's like that, like, yeah, it's like, okay, wait a minute. You take the shades off your eyes, look no longer looking through rose colored glasses. You see the situation for what it is. I can support you, but you can't support me. We have a problem, because now there's no gratitude. I'm feeling used. I'm feeling like you only want me for my resources or my assets and benefits, right? And nobody wants to do that. God doesn't even want to feel like that. And a lot of people do. But, if God is not going to accept that, why should we expect people to accept that? And I say we loosely because that I don't do that. I tell people, um, if you can, you know, support. If you can't, let me know. I'm still going to be here for you, right? Um, I had a friend who had a mental episode, and they thought that, um, and it was in my apartment, and they left abruptly, didn't want to talk to me, and they thought that that was the end of the relationship. I was like, no, I've been waiting for you to call me back. What's up? And it shocked the person. And it's because I didn't put any weight to what the situation they were going through at that moment in time, because I knew that that wasn't that person. And so that's the other thing. When you have developed relationships with people and you know for a fact that if they had, they could, they would, don't turn your back. Don't get discouraged. Don't talk about them. But what happens is that's exactly what happens. The first time someone says no or I can't, people get all up in the arms and all up in their feelings. And next thing you know, well, daggone, what did you do? Because so and so just said such and such and such about you. And it's like, people, it's not that serious. It's not that serious. We just have to be thankful that they're even in our lives. We have to be thankful that you know that if they could, that you would have that support. It's the knowing where you get your blessings from, the knowing that if you can. Because what happens is that it kind of it enriches your faith, because what it says is that, prime example, okay, if you have the faith the size of a mustard seed, right? And you say, God, I don't have I don't have $500 that I want to sow into this company because they're doing right by the people, by this nonprofit, what have you. Let's say nonprofit. Lord, I really want to bless this person, but I don't have it right now. But because you are willing, you have that willing heart to give, even though you don't have right now, things will work out. Maybe not right then, but things will work out down the road, where all of a sudden you're not only going to get that $500, you're going to get $1,000, and you're able to be like, oh my gosh, I was just saying this 2 months ago or last month, about how if I had this, that I would give. But because you had that faith the size of a mustard seed and you put it out into the atmosphere and you believed on that thing and you actually worked on that thing, it comes to fruition. And now you're able to do what you wanted to do, what you had your heart set on to do. Now, if this company was like at a health fair or some kind of like a street fair, and this person said, "Oh, I really want to do that. I wish I could." And the director heard the person and said, "Okay, well, we'll take your name down." And then that person had an attitude of, "I'm gonna write their name down, but child, people are always saying that they want to do something for the community, but don't ever have anything. So we gonna put it, but we'll see. And if that person heard it, now when that person gets the $1,000, that person can say, "Well, I have the money now, but because of your attitude, because you wrote me off at the time when I was not where I wanted to be. Now I'm going to donate this $500 to someone else, to another agency, because of what you showcased to me, how you wrote me off." Yes, God loves a cheerful giver, right? And it's like, because you denied the want to in me, you're now denying the blessing that I had for you. And so now I'm going to give it to someone else. And so when you're not thankful for the people that are in your lives, no matter where they are on that spectrum, and not just thankful for them as they are, for the person, and not what they can do and give to you, what ends up happening is that when they catch on to what you are doing, they're going to pull away from you. And so everything that you set yourself out to do, because you have only pulled on people for what they can give to you and their resources, and you're not thinking about the times when they were low and you kind of wrote them off and didn't check on them and didn't support them and see how you could help them in any type of way, right? Then when that person is on their feet, they're going to remember that. They're going to remember those that stood by them at their lowest moments in time. They're going to remember everybody who stood in their corner and was up to bat for them when the world was against them and the world seemed like it was too much to bear. They're going to remember those who picked up the earth with them and stood by them in the trenches to say, "Hey, I want you to know that I'm here for you." They're going to remember that. And I guess I had been in that space, right? The part of wanting to do so much, but not really having um, the things that I needed to make those things happen. And recently, I was having a text message with a friend, and she sent this response to me, a validation that I didn't even know that I needed. And the validation was, um, without giving too much, was that what I was doing was not for me, but it was for my future and for whatever my future holds. It wasn't the work that I'm doing now is not a right now work. It's a futuristic work. And that goes along with everything. Because what you see now in the person that you're not supporting or not being supportive of is that you're seeing the groundwork, uh, the seedling of what's to come. And because it looks unpleasant to you, because it's not what you're used to, it's not what you're used to seeing in that person. When you turn your back away, when you look away and you detach yourself, you're detaching yourself away from any type of blessing that could ever come of it. You're honestly saying, I don't want it. I don't want to see. I don't, you know, I put this avocado seed in the ground. It's starting to look rotten. I don't want to have anything to do with it. So you push it off, you shove it off into the corner, and you go water your daisies and everything that's already sprouted. But what you don't see is the process of the things that fall off with that person, the shell of the seed. You don't see the groundbreaking moments in that person's life, the new enlightenments, the new way of thinking, the new way of living and speaking and talking, um, the transformation that this person is going through. And then next thing you know, you see the actual tree or plant. You actually start to see the growth that this person has gone through. And then all of a sudden, now with this, because I'm still using my avocado analogy, then you start to see the avocados, fruit hanging off the trees. You're starting to see the abundance in this person's life, that while they were going through the trenches and becoming who they were meant to be, now you see the fruits of their labor, and now you want to come back and say you took part in the pruning and the watering and the giving of light when you did none of those things, when you nurtured none of those things for that person. How dare you? How dare you? And we as a society do that a lot to people because they aren't where they are. And my family, this it's a family thing, but sometimes my family get on me. Well, you can't help everybody. I know that, but I'm going to try to help get that person to where they are. Now, if they are fighting me tooth and nail, then I can let go with ease. So if you're with somebody and you're trying to support them, but the way, um, well, hold on. There's two things with that. Are you supporting the person how they need the support, or are you trying to support the person in the way you think they need support? Because there's two different things. Because you cannot push your agenda onto someone else's life and expect them to prosper. What is for you is not for everyone else. God knows what each person knows needs, not only because He's the author and finisher. And I know the scripture says of our faith, but He's the author and finisher of our life. He knows our endings before our beginnings. And as an author, if something needs to be edited, he can go back and edit it. Okay, well, you know, because he does give us free will, right? Well, this person didn't do this, but okay, they still have time to change up here. But as a person, we don't have that capability of doing that with anyone. We can only be there for them how they need us. And if it's in a way that is um, that's against your moral code, then you can say that to that person. This is against my moral code. I can't support that. But if you need me in any other way, I'll still be here. That's humanity. And then when this person is not, if this person tells you, hey, support for me looks like if I need to go somewhere, that you just come with me. You don't have to come all the time. But if you come with me, that's the only support I need. Or when I go on live, support for me means to catch at least one or two if you can't catch them all. Or if you see it afterwards, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know how I did, because I don't know until you tell me, unless you tell me. And if the person tells you something that is that light, that's not against any type of moral code, and you refuse to do it and you don't do it, then you are showing that person that you really don't care about them. You only care about what they can provide to you. Um, where I'm from, in my family, we call those leeches. You're being a leech. You're draining and sapping the life out of someone's, out of their life, out of their gifts, so that you can prosper, and you're not worried about what else happens to them. And that is the wrong way to go. That is the wrong way to go. Because again, when this person comes to who they're meant to be in the world, who what God has ordained for them to do, once they get there and you come back in, when they shut the door on you, you can't be mad because that is what you showed them. You showed them a shut door when you had the opportunity to show them an open door. You had the opportunity to be a blessing into someone's life. But because you weren't that blessing, you showed them a curse. And so now, what happens with the curse? I know people say like they don't really believe in karma, but okay, what goes around comes around, right? What you plant in the soil produces that fruit. So if you planted in the seed a closed door, when that closed door sprouts up to another closed door for you, on the flip side, you can't get mad because that is what you showed this person the entire time. And you can't do that. We can't do that as human beings. We can't do that as children of God. And so I always go to bat for people like don't shut anybody out from God. Like no. But that's another rant. I'm gonna get back. But we have to have this attitude of gratitude. And I promise y'all, I was not trying to rhyme, but as I begin to get on the line, that's what came out is an attitude of gratitude. Because when you have an attitude of gratitude, you are very thankful for the people in their lives. You are thankful for what they for them, for their life, for them being connected to you. And you show support to them even if they can't show support to you. Many times people go through things silently because they don't know that they have support. They don't know it. If you don't show anybody support and they are always there for you, how do they know that when it's their time of need that they can come to you if you never show them support in any other way of their life? Another prime example, in the beginning of the world was watered from the ground up. It's in the Bible. Look it up. The world was watered from the ground up before it became aired down. And even science tells you that rain is formatted from the moistness of the ground that rises to the air and collects in this I'll call it an air pocket or air sac because I forgot that terminology. And at a certain point, then it is released back down to the earth. But say that you are this person and you're this dry patch of ground that refuses to water the rest of the world because you want to hold it all in for you. You want to get the gratitude. You want to make your name great, right? So you hold in what you could give out. So while the rest of the world is sending up moisture to the air, you're sending up dry air. And so that when it now comes back down, because there's this little pocket here, and the pocket recognizes, oh, there's no there's no moisture here. This is a dry earth. It rains literally around you, and that earth is still dry. And you're wondering, why isn't the rain falling on me? Well, that's because the earth recognizes that there is a dry pocket of ground right here. And It's basically unreachable. Now, I'm not saying that that part is scientific. I'm just using this as an analogy. So don't go around saying that Brian said that the science said that the earth will skip the ground. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just using that as an analogy. But please understand that there are times where you can literally be on one side of the street and it's raining and it's not raining on the other side of the street. That lets me know that God will release rain, blessings, abundance, wherever it needs to go to at an appointed time. And He can restrain and withhold abundance from people by His choosing. Don't let you become that dry ground that God refuses to water because you refuse to water other people. In fact, the scripture tells us it's better to give than to receive. So if you know that someone is trying their best and they're putting their best foot forward for them, not for you, but for them, whatever their best foot looks forward to, you praise that person anyway. You give that person their flowers anyway, because you may be the only person that's giving that person their flowers, and you're motivating, excuse me, that person to continue on. Because that's the second thing that happens when a person feels like that they're doing something alone. It's like they wither up and dry on the inside, because they like, okay, well, if nobody's paying attention to me, why should I continue to do this? Why should I continue to get up here weekly and do X, Y, and Z if nobody's really paying attention? If nobody's uh, giving me my flowers, giving me my moisture, giving me that motivation to continue, then, the person just kind of gives up. And then the hope goes, the joy goes, and then now the person is in depression. And then we wonder, well, why are so many people in depression? Well, let's see. Are these the same people that have been pushing you and motivating you? But have you been doing the same with them? Because I promise you, like I said, I didn't even know. I wasn't looking for validation. But when my friend sent me that text message and said that you are doing things not for the right now, but for your future, something clicked, something sparked in me. And I said, whoa, thank you for seeing me where I am. Thank you for acknowledging the fact that you see that I'm going through something, but instead of you dodging me and dogging me down, and you're actually uplifting me and pushing me forward. That lets me know, keep going till you get to the end results that you're expecting, that you know that God has for you. And then on the flip side of that, and it could be another topic, but I'm gonna say it tonight. If you are that person that needs watering, if nobody's told you that you're doing a great job, if nobody's told you that they're proud of you, that they love you, that I see you, I'm telling you this right now. I see you. Keep doing it. No matter what people say, no matter if it's not working out right now, keep pushing and keep trying anyway. Hey, especially if you're watching this, you can contact me. Nothing's blocked off. You can contact me and say, hey, I need this. Because one thing that I am is a connector of resources. Now that is I am. And that's because I know a lot of people with different backgrounds and different gifts. And some of you are watching now. Thank you for watching. Um, I'm going to make sure, and I tell people all the time, I make sure that my people are good, no matter who they are. I'm going to make sure that my people are good, because I recognize the talents and the gifts that you have. I recognize the need. I recognize the drive. that you have. And somebody else may not, but I do. And I'm telling you right now, keep going, keep pushing forward. Don't give up. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Trust and believe. I know that it is hard. And sometimes that dry ground is nothing but dry ground under dry ground under dry ground. But keep digging anyway, because I promise you that there is some good soil underneath all of that dry ground. I am the grandson of gardeners. You got to till that ground till you get to that good soil, to that dark earthy soil. And I'm not talking about the ones where you get to the surface level and you see an earthworm. No, you got to go even past where the earthworm has gone. You got to get down there, because you know what happens when you get closer to the earth, that type of soil, you're getting closer to water. And what is water again? That moisture. And what happened in the beginning of the world? That moisture rose from the ground up, meaning that everything that you need to prosper is already inside of you. You have to keep digging deeper, deeper, and deeper within you. Because as beings on this earth, we all know that our body is made up out of, I believe it's what, 85%, 85, 95% of water anyway. That's what science tells us, right? We also know that this flesh is dirt. That means that the more that we dig and dig and dig and dig inside of ourselves, the more that we can tap into to the water that's within us, that spirit of God that's within us, that will not only bring us abundance, but it will bring us healing. It will bring us a new mindset and new ways of talking and thinking. And it will attract those that need to be attracted to us, right? So if you're looking at this video and you're saying, but there's nobody around me, keep digging anyway. Cause your light is gonna shine, and it's gonna spark. It's gonna be one of those bright lights that's shining in the darkness that's around you. And somebody's gonna say, well, what's that light over there? I see this light. And they're gonna come trying to figure out what this light is, and they're gonna come see you. And they're going to be the biggest help to you. They're going to be your biggest motivator to you. They're going to be your biggest push. Hey, I might even be that person right now if you're watching this and you're like, come on. I'm sorry. I just hear this in a friend of mine's voice. Come on, cuz you playing with me, man. Quit playing with me. No, I'm so serious. I can be your biggest cheerleader and your biggest push. Let me know something. I'm here for you, right? Um, but also, the more you give thanks, that's the more gratitude that you put out there, the more that God sees you, that you're giving him thanks for where you are. That motivates him to help change your situation. But it also, on the physical realm, let other people see, like, man, I know for a fact that Joe Schmo is going through anything and everything but light and happiness and snow cones and Friday night movies. I know that Joe Schmo is going through that right now, but you know what? He always come in here with a smile on his face, even though he's going through. He may not think that we do know that he's going through, but he comes in here with a smile every day. And just because of his smile, they be like, come on, we're gonna do something to really put that smile on your face. Joe, me and the boys or me and the group got together, and we know that your mouth has been closed, but we see that you have been out here trying. We see and know that you out here struggling, but yet you come in with a smile on your face. We want to bless you just because. We want to support you just because. And if you tell us how else you would like to be supported, let us know so that we can be there for you. Let us know how we can be your biggest cheerleaders. Because when we are your cheerleaders, we're gonna push you. We're gonna make sure that you get to your mark. And that is what, people? That is also a way that you show people that you not only care for them, but that you love them. Love is not just a word, it is an action word. It's an action. It's a doing word. I run. Run is the action. I love. Love is the action. So we have to make sure that we are practicing all of this when we're in the attitude of gratitude, no matter where you are on this fence. And if you are the person that hasn't been showing your gratitude for other people, start now. It's never too late to give people their flowers. It's never too late to push someone. It's never too late to say, I recognize that you are in need or that you're struggling, but you know what? I'm going to push you anyway. Have y'all seen my friend? My friend is a painter and he's been struggling. He's been trying to get his business off the ground with painting. Let me show you some of his artwork. And that can be that person's favorite art piece. That person can say, oh, wow, like I was looking for new art to put in my home. And I see several pieces that I would like to purchase. Thank you for introducing me. Thank you for supporting your friend. Because people see that. People see when you support your friends or when you support other people. Whether you really know that or not, people take very big notes on on what that support looks like, especially if y'all two have been in each other's lives for years. If they see, and especially, and thank you for bringing this up because I know this is the spirit that's bringing this up. If you have been together for years and people have seen this person push you along the way for years, but never see you push the other person back, they take that into consideration with how they deal with you or if they deal with you. In the business world, they teach you on business etiquette and what that looks like. And a lot of people think it's one type of way, but no, sometimes it can be as minute as that. We're going to see how they treat their workers when they get off the plane. We're going to see how they make decisions. We're going to put this plate in front of them and we're going to see if they notice that their friend doesn't have enough money because it's apparent. I'm looking. This person may be struggling just a little bit. We're going to see what this person orders compared to what this person's order and see what the conversation is like between these two. People look into things like that. Not all, but some people do. But you don't know who those people are till they show up. But I'm not going to hold you any further. But just think about what I said tonight. No matter who you are in this story and in these examples, make sure that you put your best foot forward. Make sure that you support each other the way they support. Make sure you check on your friends too, even if you haven't heard from them in years. And there's been some people that I've recently just been, it's time to reconnect. I haven't heard from you in a while. Let me see if you still got the same number. Send this text message, send this email, send this Facebook message. You know, they're all tools for connecting people, right? So let's connect more and let's connect in the positive way where we can show each other love no matter how far away that person is. So you all have a good night. Be blessed. And until next time, you know, just think about what I've been saying tonight. All right. Have a good night.